Even before there were any railroads in the fledgling nation, there were plenty of folks willing to pay good money to attend an exhibition of English locomotives held just outside of Boston. The year was 1827. Railroad fever was infecting the nation. 1 year later, the cornerstone for the Baltimore and Ohio rail line was laid by Charles Carroll, the last living signer of the Declaration of Independence. The Baltimore and Ohio gave birth to America's railroad industry. In just 8 years, the Baltimore and Ohio was grossing over $250,000 from 7 locomotives, more than 1,000 freight cars, and 44 passenger cars. Railroads were going to be big business, and everybody knew it. Everybody wanted a piece of the action. What they didn't know was that the boom that followed on the heels of the B&O's success would not only build the American industrial economy, but it would also define the unique way Americans did business. Trains would set the pattern for America's singular brand of capitalism. At first, the North and the developing Midwest had trouble embracing the new technology and the economic possibilities of the railroad. Many financiers and governments were deeply committed to canals, man-made waterways that transported people and goods from town to town on canal boats. Wooden boats drawn by a horse walking on the canal's towpath. Many believed this was how the nation would become connected for the foreseeable future. The South had few such investments. Charleston, South Carolina, at one time one of the nation's foreign trade hubs, was in decline. The city fathers were easily convinced of the railroad's future by their new chief engineer, Horatio Allen, who scoffed at the failure of the Northerners to embrace the future of steam. As a result, on Christmas Day 1830, the best friend of Charleston, South Carolina, the first commercial locomotive built in America, carried 141 excited passengers on the first scheduled train run in the nation. However, like many other Southern Railroad ventures, additional trackage grew slowly. Something the South would pay dearly for during the Civil War. No such lethargy stymied the North. Within 6 years of the best friend's historic journey, the first railroad boom was on.
To start a railroad, of course, you'd have to have the finances. That was the first thing. And a lot of railroads started up with very little money, and then a lot of them didn't go far because they ran out of money. But the ones that had money slowly built a section of track to then one town, and then a section of track to the next town, and slowly got going.
All in all, in the first 6 years of the railroad boom, some 200 lines were chartered, taking in the savings of thousands of investors, most of whom had never seen a steam locomotive or a single rail of track. It was easy and American as apple pie to start a railroad.
Everybody wanted a railroad in their town because that would make them a more important town. And once farmers could realize they could ship things in from the big cities and ship it back out, and vice versa, then this became a real big thing to do. People wanted a railroad in their town, so they would do anything to get the railroad to come. And by granting them an easement, then they were assured an operation into their little towns.
Hi, I'm Bill Ambrose. If you like this video, subscribe so we can bring you more programming from our studio. Thank you for subscribing.